My Percy's death. Here thou report'st it. This thou didst say. Your son did thus and thus, your brother thus, so forth the noble Douglas. Stopping my greedy ears with their bold deeds, but in the end to stop my ear, indeed, thou hast a sigh to blow away this praise, ending with brother, son, and all are dead. Oh, wilt thou unearl thy tongue doth lie, and I will take it as a sweet disgrace. These mine eyes saw him in bloody state, rendering faint quittance, wearied and outbreathed to heavenly Monmouth, whose thick raw feet down the never daunted Percy to the earth, from whence with life he never more sprung up. Oh, no. Why, he is dead. No. Oh, in view his death, whose spirit lent a fire, even to the dullest peasant in his camp, who once did take fire and heat from the best-tempered current of his troops. From his metal was his hearty steel, which once in him abated, all the rest turned upon themselves like dull and heavy lead. Oh, that's the thing that's heavy in itself. Did on enforcement did fly with greater speed, so did our men heavy in HOTSPUR's loss. Land proved this weight, such greatness with their speed that arrows flew not swifter towards their aim than did our soldiers, aiming for their safety, fly from the field. No. And was the noble WORCESTER taken prisoner, and that bloody Scot, that furious Scot, the noble Douglas, with one made sword did 3 times slay the appearance of the king, and veil his stomach, and did grace the shame of those that turned their back, and his flight, stumbling in fear, was took.
My lord, the king has won, and he has sent forth a speedy power to encounter you under the conduct of young Lancaster and Westmoreland.
Yeah, so I shall have time enough to mourn. Important there is physic. These news, being well, it would have made me sick being sick. Have in some measure made me well. And like a wretch whose fever-weakened joints like sprinkles hinges that buckle under life and they break like a fire out of his keeper's arms. So do my limbs weaken with grief, being now enraged with grief, thrice themselves. Therefore, thou nice crutch, a scaly gauntlet with joints of steel must glove this hand, and hence, thou sickly coif, thou art a guard too wanton for the head which princes aimed with conquest aimed to hit. Now bind my brows with iron and approach the rapidest hour that time and tide dare bring to frown upon this enraged Northumberland. Let heaven get her. And now let not nature's hand keep the wild flood confined. Let order die. Let this world no longer be a stage to feed contention and a lingering act, but let one spirit of the firstborn Cain reign in all bosoms, that each heart, being set on bloody courses, the rude scene may end and darkness be the barrier of the dead.
that were engaged with this loss knew that we ventured on such dangerous seas. That if we wrought our life 'twas 10 to 1, and yet we ventured, for the game proposed choked the respect of likely peril fee. And since we are a West venture again, come, we will all put forth body and goods, and my most noble lord, the gentle Archbishop of York, is up with well-appointed powers, who with a double surety binds followers. My lord, your son had only but the corpse, but the shadows and shows of men to fight. For this same word rebellion, it did divide the action of their bodies from their souls, and they did fight with queasiness, constrained as men drink potions that their weapons only seemed on our side. But for their spirits and their souls, this word rebellion, it had froze them up, like fish are in a pond. But now the bishop turns insurrection to religion. Supposed sincere and holy in her thought, she's followed both with body and with mind, doth enlarge her horizon with the blood of fair King Richard, scraped from Pomfret castle stones. Derives from heaven her quarrel and her cause, tells them she doth bestride a bleeding land, gasping for life under the great king, and more and less do flock to follow her.
I knew of this before. But to speak truth, this present grief had wiped it from my mind. Oh, come, go with me. Counsel each man the aptest way for safety and revenge. Post letters, make friends with speed. Never so few and never yet more need.
Sarah, you giant. What says the doctor to my water?
He said, sir, the water itself was a good, healthy water, but for the party that owned it, he might have more diseases than he knew for.
Men of all sorts take a pride to gird at me. The brain of this foolish compounded clay man is not able to invent anything that tends to laughter more than I invent or is invented on me. I am not only wit in myself, but the cause that wit is in other men. I do here walk before thee like a sow that hath overwhelmed all her litter but one. Oh. If the prince put thee into my service for any other reason than to set me off, then I have no judgment. Thou coarse mandrake, thou fittest to be worn in my cap than to wait at my heels. I was never manned with an agate till now. But I will inset you neither in gold nor silver, but in vile apparel, and send you back again to your master for a jewel. The juvenile, the prince your master, whose chin is not yet fledged. I will sooner have a beard grow in the palm of my hand than he shall get one on his cheek. And yet he will not stick to say his face is a face royal. Oh, well, God may finish it when he will. 'Tis not to hear him as yet. He may keep it so at a face royal, for a barber shall never earn 6 pence out of it. And yet he'll be crowing as if he had wit man ever since his father was a bachelor. Well, he may keep his own grace, but he's almost out of mine, I can assure him. What said Master Dumbledore about the satin for my short cloaking slot?
He said, sir, you should procure him better assurance. He liked not the security.
Let him be damned, like a glutton. Pray God his tongue be hotter. Oh, horse and a Kitterfell. A rascally, yea forsooth, knave, to bear a gentleman in hand and then stand upon security. The horse and smooth pace do now wear nothing but high shoes and bunches of keys at their girdles. And if a man is through with them in honest taking up, then they must stand upon security. I had his leave, they would put ratsbane in my mouth as offer to stop it with security. I looked, He should have sent me 22 yards of satin, as I am a true knight, and he sends me security. Well, he may sleep in security, for he hath the horn of abundance, and the likeness of his wife shines through it, and yet cannot he see, though he have his own lanthorn to light him. Oh. What next?
Into Smithfield to buy your worship a horse.
How Waterman pause, and he'll buy me a horse in Smithfield. Oh. And I could give me but a wife and the stews, I were man, horse, and wife.
Sir, here comes the nobleman that committed the prince for striking him.
Wait close, I will not see him.
Sir John Falstaff?
Boy, tell him I am deaf.
You must speak louder. My master is deaf.
I am sure he is to the hearing of anything good. Sir John Falstaff, a word with you.
Oh, my good lord! Oh, God, give your lordship good time of day. I am glad to see your lordship abroad. I heard say your lordship was sick. I hope your lordship goes aboard by advice. Your lordship, though not being past your youth, have yet some smack of age in you, some relish of the saltness of time, and I must humbly beseech your lordship to have a reverent care of your health.
Sir John, I sent for you before your expedition to...
And please your lordship, I hear his majesty has returned with some discomfort from Wales.
I took not of his majesty. You would not come when I sent for you.
And I hear, moreover, his highness has fallen into the same horse in apoplexy.
Well, God mend him, I pray you. Let me speak with you.
This apoplexy is, as I take it, a kind of lethargy. And please your lordship, a kind of sleeping in the blood, hoarse and tingling.
What tell you me of it? Be it as it is.
Oh, it hath its original from much grief, from study and perturbation of the brain. I've read the cause of his effects in Galen. It is a kind of the deafness.
Ah, but I think you are fallen into the disease, for you hear not what I say to you.
Very well, my lord, very well. Rather, an't please your, it is the disease of not listening. The malady of not marking that I am troubled with all.
Well, to punish you by the heels would amend the attention of your ears, and I care not if I do become your physician.
Oh, I am as poor as Job, my lord, but not so patient. Your lordship may minister the potion of imprisonment to me in respect of poverty, but how should I be your patient to follow your prescriptions? The wise may make some dram of a scruple, or indeed a scruple itself.
I sent for you when there were matters against you for your life to come and speak with me.
As I was then advised by my learned counsel in the laws of this land service, I did not come.
Well, the truth is, Sir John, you live in great infamy.
He that buckles him in my bout cannot live in less.
Your means are very slender, and your waist is great.
I would it were otherwise. I would my means were greater and my waist slenderer.
You have misled the youthful prince.
Oh, the young prince hath misled me. I am the fellow with the great belly, and he my dog.
Well, I am loath to gall a new-healed wound. Your day's service at Shrewsbury hath a little gilded over your night's exploit at Gad's Hill. You may thank the unquiet time for your quiet all posting that action.
My lord?
But since all is well, keep it so. Wake not the sleeping wolf.
To wake a wolf is as bad as to smell a fox.
What? You are as a candle, the better part burnt out.
A wassail candle, my lord. Or tell her, if I did say a wax, my growth would approve the truth.
There is not a white hair on your face, but should have his effect of gravity.
His effect of gravy. Gravy.
You follow the young prince up and down like his ill angel.
Not so, my lord. Your ill angel is light. But I hope he that looks upon me will take me without weighing. And yet in some respects, I grant I cannot go. I cannot tell. Virtue is of so little regard in these costermonger times that true valor is turned bear-herd. Pregnancy is made a tapster and hath this quick wit wasted in giving reckonings. All the other gifts are pertinent to man as the malice of this age shapes them, are not worth a gooseberry. You that are old, consider not the capacities of us that are young. You do measure the heat of your livers with the bitterness of your gauds, and we that are in the baywood of our youth, I must confess, are wags too.
Do you set down your name in the scroll of youth? That I've written down all with all the characters of age, eh? Have you not a moist eye, dry hand, a yellow cheek, a white beard, a decreasing leg, an increasing belly? Is not your voice broken, your wind short, your chin double, your wit single, and every part of you blasted with antiquity? Huh? And will you yet call yourself young? Fire, Sir John.
My lord, I was born about 3 o'clock in the afternoon with a white head and something around the belly. For my voice, I have lost it with harrowing and singing of anthems. To prove my youth further, I will not. The truth is, I am only old in judgment and understanding. And he that will caper me for 1,000 miles, let him lend me the money and have at him. For the box of the ear that the prince gave you, he gave it like a rude prince. You took it like a sensible lord. I have checked him for it. And the young lion repents, Mary, not in ashes and sackcloth, but in new silk and old sack.
Well, God send the prince a better companion.
God send the companion a better prince. I cannot rid my hands of him.
Well, the king hath severed you and Prince Harry. I hear you are going with Lord John of Lancaster against the Archbishop and the Earl of Northumberland.
Yea, I thank your pretty sweet wit for it. But look you pray, all you that kiss my lady peace at home, that our armies join not in a hot day. For by the Lord, I take but 2 shirts out with me, and I mean not to sweat extraordinarily. If it be a hot day, and I brandish anything but a bottle, I would I might never spit white again. There is not a dangerous action can peep out his head, but I am thrust upon it. Well, I cannot last ever. But it was always yet the trick of our English nation. If they have a good thing to make it too common. If you will needs say I'm an old man, you should give me rest. I would to God my name were not so terrible to the enemy as it is. I would better to be eaten to death with a rust than to be scoured to nothing with perpetual motion.
Oh, well, be honest, and God bless your expedition.
Will your lordship lend me £1,000 to furnish me for?
Not a penny! You are too impatient to bear crosses. Fare you well. Commend me to my cousin Westmoreland.
If I do, fillip me with a 3-man beetle. A man can no more separate age and covetousness than he can part young limbs and literary. But the gout gores the one, and the pox pinches the other, and so both the degrees prevent my curses. Page!
Sir?
What money is in my purse?
7 groats then. 2 pence.
Get no remedy against this consumption of the purse. Borrowing only lingers and lingers it out, but the disease is incurable. Go. Send this letter to my Lord of Lancaster, this to the Prince, this to the Earl of Westmoreland, and this to old Mistress Ursula, whom I have weakly sworn to marry since I perceived the first white hair on my chin. About it, you know where to find me. Oh, a pox of this gout, or a gout of this pox. For the one or the other plays the rogue with my great toe. Tis no matter. If I do hold out the wars for my colour, my pension shall seem the more reasonable. A good wit will make use of anything. I will turn diseases to commodity.
Thus have you heard our cause and known our means. And my most noble friends, I pray you all, speak plainly your opinions of our hopes. First, Lord Marshal, what say you to it?
Well, allow the occasion of our arms, but we'd gladly be better satisfied. How in our means should we advance ourselves to look with foreheads bold and big enough upon the power and puissance of the king?
Our present musters grow upon the file to 25,000 men of choice, and our supplies live largely on the hopes of great Northumberland. whose bosom burns with an incensed fire of injuries.
Question then, Lord Hastings, standeth thus, whether our present 25,000 may hold up without Northumberland.
With him we may.
Yea, marry, there is the point. But if without him we be thought too feeble, my judgment is we should not step too far, till we have had his assistance by the hand. For in a theme so bloody-faced as this, conjecture, expectation, and surmise of aids in certain should not be admitted.
'Tis very true, Lord Bardolph, for indeed 'twas young Hotspur's case at Shrewsbury.
Was my lord who lined himself with hope, eating at the air on promise of supply, flattering himself in project of power much smaller than the smallest of his thoughts, and with great imagination, proper to mad men, led his powers to death, and winking leaped into destruction.
But by your leave, it never yet did hurt to lay down likelihoods and forms of hope.
Yes, if this present quality of war indeed the instant action, cause on foot lives so in hope, as in early spring we see the appearing buds, which prove fruit. Hope gives not so much warrant as despair, that the frost will bite them. In this great work, which is almost to pluck a kingdom down and set another up, should we survey the plot of situation and the model, consent upon a sure foundation, question surveyors, know our own estate, how able such a work to undergo, to weigh against the king's opposite. Or else we fortify in paper and in figures, using the names of men instead of men. Like one who draws the model of a house beyond his power to build it. Half through gives o'er and leaves his part created cost, a naked subject to the weeping clouds and waste churlish winter's tyranny.
Grant that our hopes, yet likely of fair birth, should be stillborn, and that we possess the utmost now of expectation. I think we are a body strong enough, even as we are, to equal with the king.
What? Is the king but 25,000?
To us no more. Nay, not so much Lord Bardolph. For his divisions, as the times do brawl, are in three heads. One power against the French, another against Glendower. Perforce a third must take up us. And so the unfirm king is in three divided, and his coffers sound with hollow poverty and emptiness.
That he should draw his several strengths together and come against us in full puissance need not be dreaded.
If he should do so, he leaves his back unarmed. The French and the Welsh baying him at his heels, never fear that.
Who is it like should lead his forces hither?
The Duke of Lancaster and Westmoreland, against the Welsh himself and Harry Monmouth. But who is substituted against the French? I have no certain notice.
Let us on, and publish the occasion of our arms. The Commonwealth is sick of their own choice. Their over-greedy love hath surfeited, and habitation giddy and unsure hath he that buildeth on the vulgar heart. O thou fond many, with what loud applause didst thou beat heaven with blessing Bolingbroke, before he was what thou wouldst have him be, and being now trimmed in thine own desires, thou beastly feeder, art so full of him that thou provokest thyself to cast him up. So, thou common dog, didst thou disgorge thy glutton bosom of the royal Richard. And now thou wouldst eat thy dead vomit up, and how's to find it? What trust is in these times? They that, when Richard lived, would have him die, are now become enamoured on his grave. They that threw dust upon his goodly head, when through proud London he came sighing on after the admired hills of Bolingbroke, criest now, O earth, yield us that king again, and take thou this. Thoughts of men accursed. Past and to come seems best, things present worst.
Shall we go draw our numbers on and set on?
There are times, servants, and time bids be gone.
Thou false, perjured, dishonest man, thou art a plague sore, a boil I would thou would burst, you pigeon fat gut!
Throw the Queen in the channel!
Throw me in the channel? I'll throw you in the channel! Oh, wilt thou bastardy rogue? Murder! Murder! Oh, thou honeysuckle villain, wilt thou kill God's officers and the king's? Oh, thou honeyseed rogue! Thou art a honeyseed!
Honeyseed? Homicide?
I, a man queller and a woman queller.
Away, you scullion, you rampellion, you fustelarian, I'll tickle your catastrophe!
What's the matter? Keep the peace here, ho?
Oh, good, my lord. Oh, be good to me. I beseech you, stand to me. I am undone by his going. I warrant you, he is an infinitive thing upon my score. He comes continually to Pie Corner, saving your grace's manhood to buy a saddle, and he is indicted to dinner at the Lubbers Head in Lambert Street to Master Smooth's silkman. I pray ye, since mine Exion is entered, and my case so openly known to the world, oh, let him be brought to his answer. 100 mark is a long one for a poor lone widow to bear, and I have borne, and borne, and borne, and been fubbed off, and fubbed off, and fubbed off, from one day to the next, that it is a shame to be thought on. There is no honesty in such dealing, unless a woman be made an ass, and a beast to bear every knave's wrongs. Do your office, oh, do me, your officers.
How now, Sir John? How doth this become your place, your time and business? You should have been well on your way to York.
Oh, most worshipful lord, and to please your grace, I am a poor widow of East Cheap, and he is arrested at my suit.
For what sum?
Oh, it is for more than some, my lord. It is for all that I have. He had eaten me out of house and home. He had put all my substance into that fat belly of his, but I will have some of it out again, or I will ride thee all night like the mare.
How comes this, Sir John? Fie! What man of good temper would endure this tempest of exclamation? Are you not ashamed to force a poor widow to so rough a course to come by her own?
What is the gross sum that I owe thee?
Marry, if thou wert an honest man, thyself, and the money too. Thou didst swear to me upon a parcel gilt goblet, sitting in my dolphin chamber at the round table, by a sea-cold fire, upon a Wednesday in Weeson week, when the prince broke thy head for liking his father to a singing man of Windsor. Thou didst swear to me then to marry me and make me my lady, thy wife. Canst thou deny it? Did not Goodwife Kate, the butcher's wife, come in then and call me gossip quickly, coming in to borrow a mess of vinegar, saying that she had a good dish of prawns, whereby thou didst desire to eat some, whereby I told thee that they were ill for a green wound? And did thou not, when she was gone downstairs, desire me to be no more so familiarity with such poor people? For ere long they'd call me madam, and didst thou not kiss me and bid me fetch you 30 shillings? I put you now to thy book oath. Deny it if you canst.
My lord, this is a poor mad soul, and she says up and down the town that the eldest son is like you. She hath been in good case, and the truth is, poverty hath distracted her.
Sir John, I am well acquainted with your manner of wrenching the true cause the false way. It is not a confident brow, nor the throng of words that come with such more than impudent sauciness from you can thrust me from a level consideration. You have, as it appears to me, practiced upon the easy, yielding spirit of this woman, and made her serve both your uses in purse and in person.
Yea, in good truth, my lord.
Well, pray thee peace. Pay her the debt you owe her, and unpay the villainy you have done her. The one you may do with sterling money, the other with current repentance.
My lord, I will not undergo the sleep without reply. You call Honourable Boulder's impudent sauciness? If a man will make courtesy and say nothing, he is virtuous? No, my lord. My humble duty remembered, I will not be your suitor. I say to you, I do desire deliverance, being upon hasty employment in the king's affairs.
You speak as having power to do wrong, but answer in the effect of your reputation and satisfy this poor woman.
Come hither, hostess.
What news?
The king, my lord, and Harry, Prince of Wales, on ye at hand.
As I am a gentleman.
Oh, Faith, you said so before.
As I am a gentleman. Come, no more words of it.
Upon this heavenly ground that I tread upon, I must be fain to pawn both my plate and the tapestry of my dining chambers.
Glasses. Glasses is the only drinking. And for thy wars a pretty sly drollery, or the story of the prodigal, or the German hunting and waterwork is worth 1,000 of these bed hangings, these fly-bitten tapestries. Let it be £10 if thou canst. Come, and to know for thy humours is not a better wench in England. Go, wash thy face, draw the action. Come, thou must not be in this humour with me. Dost not know me? Come, I know thou wast set onto us.
Pray, Sir John, let it be but 20 nobles. In fact, I am loath to pawn my plate, so God save me, love.
Let it alone. I'll make other shifts. You'll be a fool still.
Well, you shall have it. I pawn my gown. I hope you'll come to supper. You'll pay me all together.
Oh, will I live?
Will you have Dorothy sheep meet you at supper?
No more words. Let's have her.
I have heard better news.
Oh, I hope, my lord, all's well. What is the news, my lord? Come all his forces back?
No, 1,500 foot, 500 horse are marched up to my lord of Lancaster against Northumberland and the Archbishop.
And comes the king back from Wales, my noble lord?
Sir John, you loiter here too long, being you are to take soldiers up in counties as you go. Now, the Lord lighten thee. Thou art a great fool.
Before God, I'm exceeding weary.
Is it come to that? I thought weariness does not attach one of such high blood.
Faith, it does me, though it discolours the complexion of my greatness to acknowledge it. Doth it not show vilely in me to desire small beer?
Why, a prince should not be so loosely studied as to remember so weak a composition.
Well, belike then my appetite was not princely got. By my troth, I do now remember the poor creature, small beer. But, indeed, these humble considerations make me out of love with my greatness. What a disgrace it is in me to remember thy name. God knows whether those that bawled out the ruins of thy linen shall inherit his kingdom. But the midwives say the children are not in the fault, whereupon the world increases and kindreds are mightily strengthened.
How ill it follows, after you have laboured so hard that you should talk so idly. Tell me how many good young princes would do so, their fathers being so sick as yours is.
Shall I tell thee one thing, POINS?
Yes, faith, and let it be an excellent good thing.
Shall serve among wits of no higher breeding than thine.
Go to, I'll stand the push of your one thing that you will tell.
Marry, I tell thee, it is not meet that I should be sad now that my father is sick. Albeit I could tell thee, as to one for fault of a better I call my friend, I could be sad, and sad indeed too.
Very hardly upon such a subject.
By this hand, thou thinkest me as far in the devil's book as thou in Falstaff for obduracy and persistency. Let the end try the man. But I tell thee, my heart bleeds inwardly now that my father is so sick. And keeping such vile company as thou art hath in reason taken from me all ostentation of sorrow.
The reason?
What wouldst thou think of me if I should weep?
I would think thee a most princely hypocrite.
It would be every man's thought. And thou art a blessed fellow for thinking as every man does. Never a man's thought in Christendom holds the roadway better than thine. Every man would think me a hypocrite indeed. And what excites your most worshipful thought to think so?
Why? Because you have been so lewd and so engraft to Falstaff.
And to thee.
By this line, I am well spoke of. I can hear it with my own ears. The worst that they can say of me is that I am a second brother and a proper fellow of my hands. And those two things, I confess, I cannot help.
And the boy that I gave Falstaff had him for me Christian, and look, if the fat villain hath not transformed him ape. How doth thy master, boy?
Well, my lord, he's heard your grace is coming to town. There's a message for you.
With good respect.
Sir John Falstaff, knight, to the son of the king, nearest his father, Harry, Prince of Wales, greeting. I will imitate the honourable Romans in brevity. I commend me to thee, I commend thee, and I leave thee. Be not too familiar with POINS, for he misuses thy favours so much that he swears thou art to marry his sister Nell. Repent at idle times as thou mayest, and so farewell, thine by yea and no, which is as much as to say as thou usest him, Jack Falstaff with my familiars, John with my brothers and sisters, and Sir John with all Europe.
I do allow this wen to be as familiar with me as my dog, and he holds his place, for look you how he writes.
My lord, I will steep this message in sack and make him eat it.
But do you use me thus, Ned? Must I marry your sister?
Oh, God send the wench no worse fortune, but I never said so.
Well, thus we play the fools with the time, and the spirits of the wise sit in the beyond and mock us. Is your master here on London, boy?
Yea, my lord.
Where sups he? Doth the old boar feed the old Frank?
At the old place, my lord. In Eastcheap.
Will sup any women with him?
None, my lord, but old Mistress Quickly and Mistress Dog Tear she.
Even such kin as the parish heifers are to the town bull. Shall we steal upon them, Ned, at supper?
I am your shadow, my lord. I'll follow you.
Sirrah, you, boy. No word to your master that I am yet come to town. Fare you well, go. This dole tear sheet is some road.
I warrant you. As common as the way between St. Albans and London.
How shall we see Falstaff bestow himself tonight in his true colours, and not ourselves be seen?
Put on 2 leathern jerkins and aprons, and wait upon him at his table as drawers.
From a god to a bull. A heavy dissension, it was Jove's case. From a prince to apprentice. A low transformation. That shall be mine, for in everything the purpose must weigh with the folly. Follow me, Ned.
for God's sakes, go not to these wars.
I pray thee, gentle daughter, give even way unto these times. Put not you on the visage of the times, and be like them to Percy, troublesome. Alas, sweet girl, but my honour is at pawn, and but my going, nothing can redeem it.
The time was, Father, that you broke your word, when you were more endeared to it than now. When your own Percy, when my heart's dear Harry, through many a skyward look to see his father bring up his powers, but he did long in vain. Who then persuaded you to stay at home? There were two honors lost, yours and your son's. For yours the God of heaven brightened it. For his it stuck upon him as a sun in the grey vault of heaven. And by his light did all the chivalry of England move to do brave acts. He was indeed the glass wherein the noble youths did dress themselves. He had no legs, no practice, not his gait. And speaking thick, which nature made his blemish, became the accents of the valiant. For those that could speak low and tardily would turn their own perfection to abuse, to seem like him. So that in speech, in gait, in diet, in affections of delight, in military rules, humors of blood, he was the mark and glass, copy and book that fashioned others. And him, oh wondrous him, oh miracle of men, him did you leave, second to none, and seconded by you. Look upon the hideous god of war in disadvantage, to abide a field where nothing but the sound of HOTSPUR's name did seem defensible. So you left him. Never, oh never do his ghost the wrong, to hold your honor more precise and nice with others than with him. Let them alone. The Marshal and the Archbishop are strong. Had my sweet Harry had but half their numbers, today might I, hanging on HOTSPUR's neck, would have talked to Monmouth's way.
Bestrew your heart, fair daughter. You do draw my spirits from me with new lamenting ancient oversights. I must go and meet with danger there, or it will sink me in another place, and find me worse provided.
Or fly to Scotland, till that the nobles and the armed commons have of their puissance made a little taste. If they ground advantage of the king, then join you with them, like a reeve of steel to make strength stronger. But for all our loves, first let them try themselves. So did your son. He was so suffered. So came I, a widow. And never shall have length of life enough to rain remembrance upon my eyes, that it may grow and sprout as high as heaven for recordation to my noble husband.
I'm going with me. It is with my mind as if the tides swelled up into its height. Makes us still stand running neither way. Fain would I go to meet the Archbishop, but there are many thousand reasons why I won't. I will resolve for Scotland. There am I till time and vantage crave my company.
Faith, sweetheart. Methinks you're in now at an excellent temporality. Well, your pulsage beats as extraordinarily as heart would desire, and your colour is, I warrant you, as red as any rose in good truth, love. But, faith, you've drunk too much canaries. And that is a marvellous searching wine. And the perfume's the blood, ere one can say, what's this? How do ye now?
Better than I was.
Oh, that's well said. a Dutch West Dole. Lo, here comes John.
How now, Mistress Dole?
Sick of a calm, faith.
So is all who's sick. They be once in a calm, they are sick.
You bloody rascal. Is that all the comfort you give me?
You make fat rascals, Mistress Dole.
I make them. Gluttony and diseases make them. I make them not.
If the cook helped to make the gluttony, you help to make the diseases, Dole. We catch of you, Dole. We catch of you. Grant that, my poor virtue. Grant that.
Yea, our chains and our jewels.
Your brooches, pearls, and ooshes. For to serve bravely is to come halting off, to come off the breach with this pike bent bravely, and to surgery bravely, to venture upon the charged chambers bravely.
Hang yourself, you bloody conger, hang yourself!
Oh, by my troth. This is the old fashion. You two never can meet, but you fall to some discord. You are both, in good truth, as rheumatic as two dry toasts. You cannot one bear with another's confirmities. What a good year one must bear, and that must be you. You are the weaker vessel, as they say, the emptier vessel.
Can a weak, empty vessel bear such a huge, full hogshead? The whole merchant's venture of Bordeaux stuff in him. We have not seen a hulk better stuffed in the old. Come, I'll be friends with thee, Jack. Thou art going to the wars. Whether I shall ever see thee again or no, there is nobody cares.
Oh, sir, ancient pistol is below and would speak with you.
Hang him, swaggering rascal, let him not come hither. He is the foul-mouthed rogue in England.
If he swagger, no, let him not come here, no, by my faith. I must live among my neighbours. Oh, no swaggerers. I'm in good name and fame with the very best. No, shut the door. There comes no swaggerers here. I've not lived all this while to have swaggering now. Shut the door, I pray you.
Dost thou hear, hostess?
Pray ye pacify yourself, Sir John. There comes no swaggerers here.
Dost thou hear? It is mine ancient.
Tell me fully, Sir John. Ne'er tell me your ancient swaggerer comes not in these doors. I was before Mr. Stick, the deputy, t'other day, and it said to me, 'twas no longer ago than Wednesday last. Good faith, neighbour, quickly, said he. Master Dunn, our minister, was by then. Neighbour, quickly, said he, receive those that are civil. For, said he, you're in an ill name now, he said so, and I can tell whereupon. For, said he, you are an honest woman and well thought on, and therefore take heed what guests you receive. Receive, said he, no swaggering companions. There comes none here. No, oh no swaggerers.
He's no swaggerer, hostess. A tame cheetah, in faith, and you may stroke him as gently as a puppy greyhound. He'll not swagger with a Barbary hen if her feathers turn back in any show of resistance. Call him up.
You're a cheater, you call him. Well, I will bar no honest man my house, nor no cheater, but I do not love swaggering. But my troth, I am the worst when one says swagger. Field masters, I will shake. Look, if I warrant you.
You do, hostess.
Do I? Oh, yea, in very truth do I, as 'twere an aspen leaf. Oh, I cannot abide swaggering.
God save you, Sir John.
Welcome, ancient pistol. Here, pistol, I charge you with a cup of sack. Do you discharge upon my hostess?
I will discharge upon her, Sir John, with 2 bullets.
Oh, she is pistol-proof, sir. You shall hardly offend her.
No, I'll drink no proofs nor no bullets. I'll drink no more than will do me good for no man's pleasure, I.
Why then, to you, Mistress Dorothy, I shall charge you.
Charge me? I scorn you, scurvy companion. What? You poor, base, rascally, cheating lacklinen mate! Away, you mouldy rogue, away!
I know you, Mistress Dorothy.
Away, you cut-purse rascal, you filthy bug, away! Why, this wine, I'll thrust my knife in your mouldy chaps and you play the saucy cutter with me! Away, you bot-layer rascal, you bastard, help, stale juggler, you! Since when, I pray you, sir? God's light, with 2 points on your shoulder! Much!
I could tear your ruff for this!
No more, Pistol! I would not have you go off here. Discharge yourself of our company, Pistol.
Oh, good. Captain Pistol, not here, sweet Captain.
Oh, Captain! Thou abominable damn cheater! Thou not ashamed to be called Captain! If captains were of my mind, they would trudging you out for taking their names upon you before you've earned them. You were captain! You slave? For what? For tearing a poor horse rug in a boarding house? He a captain! Hang him, rogue! He lives upon mouldy stew, prunes and dried cakes. A captain! God's light, these villains will make the word as odious as the word occupy.
Hark thee hither, Mistress Dole.
What? I? What? I tell you, I could tear her. I'll be revenged of her.
Lady, go down.
I'll see her damned first. To the damned lake of Pluto. By this hand to the infernal deep, with Erebus and tortures vile also. Hold, hook and line, say I. Down! Down, dogs! Down, faiters! Have we not Heron here?
Oh, good Captain, please be quiet. I beseech ye, faith, it's very late. I beseech now, aggravate your collar.
Good humors indeed. Shall pack horses and hollowed, pampered jades of Asia, which cannot go but 30 miles a day, compare with Caesars, and with cannibals, and with Trojan Greeks? Nay, rather damn them with King Cerberus and let the Vulcan roar. Shall we fall foul for toys?
By my troth, Captain, these are very bitter words.
Begone, good agent, this won't go to a ball anon.
Die men like dogs, give crowns like pins. Have we not Heron here?
Captain, my word, there is none such here. I mean, what the good year do you think I should deny her? Oh, for God's sake, be quiet.
Then feed and be fat, my fair Callipolis. Give us some sack. Si fortune mo tormente, sperato me contento. Well, give us some sack, I say. Sweetheart, lie thou there. Come we talk points here, and our etc. is nothing.
Pistol, I would be quiet.
Well, sweet knight, I kiss thy neath. But we have seen the 7 stars.
Oh, I'm thrusting downstairs. I cannot endure the fustian rascal.
Come, get you downstairs.
Stairs? Know we not Galloway nags?
Come, get you downstairs.
Oh.
Shall we have incision? Shall we imbrue? Then death rock me asleep, abridge my doleful days, shall grievous, ghastly, gaping wounds untwine the sisters free. Come, not drop us, I say!
Oh, here's a goodly stuffed award.
Give me my weapon!
I pray thee, Jack, I pray thee, do not draw.
Get thee downstairs!
Here's a goodly shield. I forswear heaven else, for I'll be in these periods of fright. Oh, murder now, I warrant you. Oh, alas, put up your naked weapons. Put up your naked weapons! Oh.
Jack, I pray thee, be quiet. The rascal's gone. Oh, you horse-lipped valiant villain, you.
You're not hurt either groin. Methought he made a shrewd thrust at your belly.
Oh, you sweet little rogue, you. Alas, poor ape, how thou sweatest. Come, let me wipe thy face. Come on, your whoreson chops. Oh, rogue. Faith, I love thee. Thou art as valorous as Hector of Troy, worth 5 of Agamemnon and 10 times better than the 9 worthies. Oh, villain.
Ah, rascally slave, I will toss the rogue in a blanket.
Do, and thou darest for thy art. And thou dost, I'll canvass thee between a pair of sheets.
Sit on my knee, dole. A rascal bragging slave, the rogue fled from me like quicksilver.
The faith now follows him like a church. Thou whoreson little tidy Bartholomew, poor pig. When wilt thou leave off fighting a days and pointing a nights and begin to patch up thine old body for heaven?
Oh, peace, good dole. Do not speak like a death's head. Do not bid me remember mine end.
Sirrah, what humour's the prince of?
Good, shallow young fellow. He would have made a good peddler. He would have chipped bread well.
They say POINS has a good wit.
He a good wit? Oh, hang him, baboon. His wit's as thick as Tewkesbury mustard. There's no more conceit in him than is in a mallet.
Why does the prince love him so then?
Because their legs are both of a bigness, and he plays at quoits well, and eats conger and fennel, and drinks off candles' ends for flapdragons, and rides the wild mare with the boys, and jumps upon joint stools, and swears with a good grace, and wears his boots very smooth, like unto the sign of the leg, and breeds no bait with telling of discreet stories, and such other gamble faculties he has. They show a weak mind and an able body, for the which the prince admits him. For the prince himself is such another. The weight of a hair will turn the scales between the other du pois.
Would not this knave of a wheel have his ears cut off?
Beat him before his whore.
Look whether the withered elder have not his pole clawed like a parrot.
Is it not strange that desire should so many years outlive performance?
Kiss me, dole.
God, Saturn and Venus this year in conjunction. What says the almanac to that?
Oh, thou dost give me flattering busses.
By my troth, I kiss thee with a most constant art.
Oh, I am old, I am old.
I love thee better than I love e'er a scurvy young boy of them all.
What stuff wilt have a kirtle on? I shall receive money on Thursday. Shall I have a cap tomorrow? A merry song, come! Oh, it grows late. Will to bed. Thou forget me when I am gone.
In faith, thou set me a-weeping, and thou sayest so. Prove that ere I dress myself handsome till thy return. Well, hearken at the end.
Some sack, Francis!
Anon!
A bastard son of the king's, and art not thou POINS' brother?
Why, thou globe of sinful continents! What a life dost thou lead?
Oh, better than thou. I am a gentleman, thou art a drawer.
Very true, sir. And I come to draw you out by the ears.
Oh, the Lord bless thy graceful grace. Oh, by my troth, welcome to London. The Lord bless that sweet face of thine. Oh, Jesu. Are you come from Wales?
The horse and mad compound of majesty. By this light flesh and corrupt blood, thou art welcome.
You fool, scorn you.
My lord, he will drive you out of your revenge and turn all to a merriment if you take not the heat.
You whoreson candle mine, you. How vilely did he speak of me even now before this honest, virtuous, civil gentlewoman?
And so she is. God bless your good heart, so she is, by my troth.
Dost thou hear me?
Yea. And you, knew me? As you did by Gad's Hill? You knew I was at your back and spoken on purpose to try my patience?
No. Not so. I did not think thou wast within hearing.
I shall drive you then to confess the willful abuse. And then I know how to handle you.
No abuse, Hal. On mine honor, no abuse.
Not to dispraise me. Call me pantler and bread chipper and I know not what.
No abuse, Hal.
No abuse?
No abuse, Ned. In the world, honest Ned, none. I dispraised him before the wicked, that the wicked might not fall in love with him, in which doing I have done the part of a careful friend and a true subject, and thy father is to give me thanks for it. No abuse, Hal. None, Ned, none. No faith, boys, none.
See now whether pure fear and entire cowardice doth not make thee wrong this virtuous gentlewoman to close with us. Is she of the wicked? Is thine hostess here of the wicked? Or is thy page of the wicked?
Answer thou, dead elm. Answer.
For the page, there is a good angel about him, but the devil outbids him too.
For the women?
Oh, for the one of them, she's in hell already and burns poor souls. For the other, I owe her money, and whether she be damned for that, I know not.
No, I warrant you.
You, gentlewoman.
What says your grace?
His grace says that which his flesh rebels against.
Knock so loud at the door. Look to the door there.
The king, my father, is at Westminster. And there are a dozen captains knocking at the taverns and each one asking for Sir John Falstaff. By heaven's poins, I feel me much to blame, so idly profane the precious time, when tempest of commotion like the south born with black vapour doth begin to melt and drop upon our bare unarmoured heads. Give me my sword and cloak. Falstaff, good night.
Now comes in the sweetest morsel of the night, and we must hence and leave it unpicked. How now? What's the matter?
You must await a court, sir, presently. A dozen captains stay at the door for you.
Pay the musician, sir. Farewell, hostess, farewell. Don't. You see, my good wenches, how men of merit are sought after. The deserver may sleep when the man of action is called on. Farewell, good wenches. If I be not sent away post, I will see you again ere I go.
Cannot speak. If my heart not be read to burst. Well, sweet Jack, have a care of thyself.
Farewell. Farewell.
Well, fare thee well. I've known you these 29 years, but an honester and truer-hearted man, Anyway, fare with you well. Oh, what's the matter? Oh, doll! Oh, run! Run, doll! Run! Come, good doll, run! She comes blubbered.
Go call the Earl of Warwick. But ere she come, bid her read my letters, and well consider of them. Make good speed. How many thousand of my poorest subjects are at this hour asleep? Oh, sleep. Oh, gentle sleep. Nature's soft nurse. How have I frighted thee, that thou no more wilt weigh my eyelids down and steep my senses in forgetfulness? Why rather, sleep, liest thou in smoky cribs, upon uneasy pallets stretching thee, and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber, than in the perfumed chambers of the great, underneath the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sound of sweetest melody? Why? Thou dull god, liest thou with the vile in loathsome beds, and leavest the kingly couch a watch case or a common larum bell? Wilt thou upon the high and giddy mast seal up the ship boy's eyes, and rock his brains in cradle of the rude imperious surge, and in the visitation of the winds which take the ruffian billows by the top and hang them with deafening clamour in the slippery clouds that in the hurly death itself awakes. Wilt thou give thy repose to the wet sea boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, deny it to a king? Then happy low, lie down. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown.
Many good morrows to your majesty.
Is it good morrow?
'Tis 1 o'clock and past.
Why then, good morrow to thee, my lord. Hast thou read the letters that I sent to you?
I have, my liege.
Then thou perceivest the body of our kingdom, how foul it is, what rank diseases grow, and with what danger near the heart of it.
It is but as a body yet distempered, which to his former strength may be restored with good advice and little medicine. My lord Northumberland will soon be cooled.
God! That one might read the book of fate and see the revolution of the times make mountains level and the continent, weary of solid firmness, melt itself into the sea. And other times to see the beachy girdle of the ocean too wide for Neptune's hips. Oh, how chances mock and changes fill the cup of alteration with diverse liquors. Ah, if it was seen, the happiest youth viewing his progress through what progress past and crosses to ensue would shut the book and sit him down and die. 'Tis not 10 years gone since Richard and Northumberland, great friends, did feast together, and in 2 years after were they at wars. 'Tis but 8 years gone since this Northumberland was the man nearest my soul, who like a brother toiled in my affairs, and laid his life and love under my foot, yea, for my sake, even to the eyes of Richard, gave him defiance. And you were by, cousin, if you remember, when Richard, with his eye brimful of tears, then checked and rated by Northumberland, did speak these words, now proved a prophecy. Northumberland, thou ladder by the which my cousin Bolingbroke ascends my throne, though God knows, at that time, I had no intent. But that necessity so bowed the state that I and greatness were compelled to kiss. The time shall come. Thus did he follow it. The time will come when foul sin, gathering head, shall break into corruption, thus foretelling this same time's condition and the division of our amity.
There is a history in all men's lives, figuring the nature of the times deceased, the which observed a man may prophesy with a near aim of the main chance of things as yet not come to life, which in their seeds and weak beginnings lie entreasured. Such things become the hatch and brood of time, and by the necessary form of this, King Richard might create a perfect guess that great Northumberland, then false to him, would of that seed grow to a greater falseness, which should not find a ground to root upon, unless on you.
Are these things then necessities? Then let us meet them like necessities. And that same word even now cries out on us. They say the Bishop of Northumberland are 50,000 strong!
It cannot be, my lord. Rumour doth double the numbers of the voice and echo the numbers of the feared. Please it your grace to go to bed. Upon my soul, my lord, the powers that you already have sent forth shall bring this prize in very easily. To comfort you the more, I have received a certain instance that Glendower is dead. Your Majesty hath been this fortnight ill, and these unseasoned hours perforce must add unto your sickness.
I will take your counsel. And were these inward wars once out of hand, we would, dear Lord, unto the Holy Land.
Come on, sir, give me your hand, an early stirrer by the rood. How does my good cousin Silence?
Good morrow, good cousin Shallow.
And how does my cousin, your bedfellow, and your fairest daughter and mine, my goddaughter Ellen?
Alas, a black ousel, cousin Shallow.
By yea or nay, sir, I dare say my cousin William becomes a good scholar. It's at Oxford still, isn't it?
Indeed, sir, to my cost.
I must to the Inns of Court shortly. I was once at Clemens Inn, where I think that they still talk of Mad Shallow yet.
You were known as Lusty Shallow back then, cousin.
Oh, by the mass, I was called anything, and I would have done anything indeed too, and roundly too. There was I and little John Doit of Staffordshire, and Black George Barnes, and Francis Pickburn, and Will Squeal, a Cotswolds man. You had not such 4 swingebucklers in all the Inns of Court again. And I say to you, we knew where the boner rovers were and had the best of them at our commandment. Then was Jack Falstaff, a boy and page to Thomas Mowbray of Norfolk.
This Sir John, cousin, that comes hithering on about soldiers?
The same, Sir John, the very same. I saw him break Scogan's head at the court gate when he was not a crack thus high. That very same day, I did find some Samson stockfish of fruiterer behind Gray's Inn. Jesu, the mad days that I have seen. And to think of how many of my old acquaintances are dead.
We shall all follow, cousin.
Certain, 'tis certain, very sure, death, as the psalmists say, comes to all shall die. How a good yoke of bollocks at Stanford Fair.
By my troth, I was not there.
Death is certain. And is old Double of your town living yet?
Dead, sir.
Jesu, dead. You drew a good bow and dead. He shot a fine shoot. John of Gaunt loved him well and betted much money upon his head, and dead. He clapped and glouted 20 score and carried a 4-hand shaft at 14 and 14 and a half. Oh, that would have done a woman's heart good to see. How much a score of you now?
Thereafter as they be, a good score of ewes may be worth £10.
And it's all double dead. Oh, here comes good Sir John. Give me your good hand. Give me your worship's good hand. By my troth, you look well and bear your years well. Welcome, good Sir John.
I'm glad to see you well, good Mistress Robin Shallow. Master Shawcarders, I think.
Oh, this is my cousin Silence in commission with me.
Oh, good Master Silence. It well befits you should be of the peace.
Your good worship is welcome.
Fie, this is hot weather. Have you provided me here 6 sufficient men?
Marry have we, sir. Will you sit?
Oh, let me see them, I beseech you.
Right. There's my list. There it is. Let me see. So. Yay. Marry. Ralph Mouldy. Let them appear as I call. Let them do so. Right, let me see. Where's Mouldy?
Here.
Do you like him, Sir John? A good limp fellow, strong and of good friends?
Is thy name Mouldy?
Yeah, an it please you.
'Tis the more time thou wert used.
Very excellent in faith. That which is Mouldy lacks use. Very singular, good in faith, Sir John. Well said, very well said.
Prick him.
I was pricked well enough before, and you could have let me alone. My old dame will be undone now for someone to do her husbandry and her drudgery. You need not have pricked me. There are other men fitter to go out than I.
Oh, go to. Peace, Mouldy. You shall go. Mouldy, it is time you were spent.
Spent?
Oh, peace, fellow, peace, stand aside. Now for the others, Sir John, let me see. Simon Shadow.
Yea, Mary, let me have him to sit under. He's like to be a cold soldier.
Where's Shadow?
Here, sir.
Oh.
Shadow, whose son art thou?
My mother's son, sir.
Thy mother's son? Oh, like enough, and thy father's shadow. So the son of the female is the shadow of the male. It is often so indeed, but much of the father's substance.
Do you like him, Sir John?
Shadow will serve for summer. Prick him, for we have a number of shadows to fill up the muster book.
Thomas Wart.
Where's he?
Yes, sir.
Is thy name Wart?
Yes, sir.
Thou art a very ragged Wart.
Shall I prick him down, Sir John?
Oh, it were superfluous, for his apparel is built upon his back, and the whole frame stands upon pins. Nah, prick him no more.
You can do it, you can do it. I commend thee well. Francis Feeble.
Here, sir.
What trade art thou, Feeble?
A woman's tailor, sir.
Shall I prick him down, sir?
You may, but if he had been a man's tailor, he'd have pricked you. Wilt thou make as many holes in an enemy's battle as thou hast done in a woman's petticoat?
Oh, I will do my goodwill, sir. You can have no more.
Well said, good woman's tailor. Well said, courageous Feeble. Thou wilt be as valiant as the wrathful dove, or most magnanimous hills. Prick the woman's tailor. Well, Mistress Shallow. Deep, Mistress Shallow.
I would, Wart might have gone, sir.
Oh, I would thou wert a man's tailor, that thou mightst mend him and make him fit to go. I cannot put him to a private soldier that is the leader of so many thousands. Let that suffice, most forcible Feeble.
It shall suffice, sir.
I am bound to thee, Reverend Feeble. Who is next?
Peter BULLCALF of the Green.
Yea, marry, let's see BULLCALF.
Yes, sir.
For God, a likely fellow. Come, prick me BULLCALF till he roar again.
Oh, Lord. Good, my Lord, Captain.
Dost thou roar before thou art pricked?
Oh, good Lord, sir, I am a deceased man.
What disease hast thou?
Some cold, sir. A cough, sir, which I got from bringing in the King's affairs on Coronation Day, sir.
Come, thou shalt go to the wars in a gown. We will have away thy cold, and I will take such order that my friends shall ring for thee. Is here all?
Here is more than cold, sir. You must have but 4, so I pray you come in with me to dinner.
Oh, come. I will go drink with you, but I cannot tarry dinner. I am glad to see you by my troth, Mistress Shallow.
Oh, do you remember when we lay all night at the windmill at St. George's Field?
Oh, no more of that, good Mistress Shallow, no more of that.
It was a merry night. And is Jane Nightwork alive?
Oh, she lives, Mistress Shallow.
Oh, she never could away with me.
Never. She would always say she could not abide Mistress Shallow.
Oh, by the mass, I could anger her to the heart. She was then a boner rover. Did she hold her own well?
Old Mistress Shallow.
Nay, she is old. She cannot choose but to be old. Certain she is old. And had Robin Nightwork by old Nightwork before I came to Clement's Inn.
That was 55 years ago.
Oh, cousin, silence, that thou hadst seen that this night and I had seen. Sir John said I well.
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Mistress Shallow.
Oh, that we have, Sir John. We have, and our watchword was heavens, boys. Oh, come, let's to dinner. Come. Let's sit there and come. Oh, there's you, the mad days that we have seen.
My Lord Falstaff, please stand, sir. And here's 4 Harry 10 shillings in French crowns for you, sir. In very truth, sir, I had as lief be hanged, sir, as go, but and yet, for my own part, I do not care so much, sir, but rather because I'm unwilling. And for my own part, having decided to stay with my friends, so I did not want to go for my own part, sir.
Go to Earth, stand aside.
And good master, corporal captain, sir, for my old dame's sake, stand, my friend. She has no one to do anything about her when I'm gone, and she is old and cannot help herself. You shall have 40, sir.
Oh, true. Stand aside.
On my truth, I cannot. Man can die but once. We have got to death. I'll never bear a base mind. And it be my destiny, so. And it be not, so. No man is too good to serve his prince. Let it go which way it will. Either dies this year, is quick for the next.
Oh, well said, thou good fellow.
I'll bear no base mind.
Oh, come, Sir John, which 4 will you have?
Do you choose for me?
Marry then, Mouldy, BULLCALF, Shadow and Feeble.
Mouldy and BULLCALF. For you, Mouldy, stay at home till you are past service. And for your part, BULLCALF, go till you come unto it. I will none of you.
Sir John, you do yourself wrong. These are your likeliest men, and I will have you served with the best.
Will you tell me, Mistress Shallow, how to choose a man? Care I for the limb, the thews, the stature, bulk, and bigger semblance of a man? Give me the spirit, Mistress Shallow. Here's what. You see what a ragged appearance it is. He shall charge you and discharge you with a motion of the pugil's hammer, come off and on swifter than he that gibbets on the brewer's bucket. And the same half-faced fellow Shadow. Give me this man. He presents no mark to the enemy. The foeman may with his great aim level at the edge of a penknife. And for a retreat, how swiftly will this feeble, the woman's tailor, run off? Oh, give me the spare men and spare me the great ones. These fellows will do, Mistress Shallow. God keep you, Master Silence. I will not use many words with you. Fare you well, gentlemen both, and thank you. I must a dozen mile tonight.
Good Sir John, God bless you, and God prosper your affairs, and God send us peace. On your return, visit our house, and let old acquaintance be renewed. Peradventure I will with you to the court.
Fare you well, gentle gentlemen. Ugh, as I return, I will fetch off these justices. I do see the bottom of Justice Shallow. Lord, Lord, how subject we are to this vice of lying. This same starved justice hath done nothing but prate to me of the wildness of her youth, and the feats she had done about Turnbull Street, and every third word a lie. Due pay to the hearer than the Turk's tribute. I do remember her at Clement's Inn like a woman made after supper of a cheese puree. When she was naked, she was, for all the world, like a forked radish with a head fantastically carved upon with a knife. She was so forlorn that her dimensions to any thick sight were invincible. She was the very genius of famine, yet lecherous as a monkey, and the whores called her Mandrake. She came ever in the rearward of the fashion, and sung those tunes on the overscutched housewife that she heard the carmen whistle and swear they were her fancies or her good nights. And now is this vice's dagger become a squire, and talks as familiarly of John of Gaunt as if he had been sworn brother to her. And I'll be sworn, she ne'er saw her but once in the tilt yard. And then she burst her head for crowding among the marshal's men. I saw it, and told John of Gaunt he beat his own name, for you might have thrust her and all her apparel into an eel skin. The case of a treble hautboy was a mansion for her, a court, and now has she land and beasts. Pfft, Well, I'll be acquainted with her if I return, and it shall go hard. I will make her philosopher's 2 stones to me. If the young dace be a bait for the old pike, I see no reason in the law of nature but I may snap at her. Let time shape, and then end.
What is this system called?
Tis Godfrey's system, if shall please your grace.
Here stand, my lords, and send discoverers forth to know the numbers of our enemies.
We have sent forth already.
'Tis well done. My friends and brethren in these great affairs, I must acquaint you that I have received new dated letters from Northumberland. They're called intent, tenor, and substance thus. Here doth he wish his person with such powers as might hold sortance with his quality, the which he could not levy, whereupon he is retired to ripe his growing fortunes to Scotland, and concludes in hearty prayers that your attempts may overlive the hazard and fearful melting of their opposite.
Ugh, thus the hopes we have in him touch ground and dash themselves to pieces.
What's next?
Just off the system. Scarcely off a click in goodly form comes on the enemy. And by the space they hide, I judge the number upon or near the rate of 30,000.
The just proportion we gave them out. Let us sway on and face them in the field.
What well-appointed leader fronts us here?
I think it is my Lord of Westmoreland.
Health and fair greeting from our General, the Prince, Lord John and Duke of Lancaster.
Say on, my Lord of Westmoreland, in peace. What doth concern your coming?
Then, my lord, unto your grace do I in chief address the substance of my speech. If that rebellion came like itself in base and abject roots, led on by bloody youth, guarded with rags, and countenanced by boys and beggary, I'd say, if damned commotion so appeared in its true native and most proper shape, you, Reverend Mother, and these noble lords had not been here to dress the ugly form of base and bloody insurrection with your fair honours. You, Lord Archbishop, whose see is by a civil peace maintained, whose hair the silver hand of peace hath touched, whose learning and good letters peace hath tutored, whose white investments figure innocence, the dove, and the very blessed spirit of peace. Wherefore do you so ill translate yourself out of the speech of peace that bears such grace, into the harsh and boisterous tongue of war, turning your books to graves, your ink to blood, your pens to lances, and your tongue divine to a trumpet and a point of war?
Wherefore do I this? So the question stands. Briefly to this end, we are all diseased, and with our surfeiting and wanton hours have brought ourselves into a burning fever, and we must bleed for it. Of which disease our late king, Richard, being infected, died. But my most noble lord of Westmoreland, I take not on me here as a physician, nor do I as an enemy to peace troop in the throngs of military men, but rather show a while like fearful war to diet rank minds sick of happiness and purge the obstructions which begin to stop our very veins of life. Hear me more plainly. I have in equal balance justly weighed what wrongs our arms may do, what wrongs we suffer, and find our griefs heavier than our offences. We see which way the stream of time doth run, and are enforced from our most quiet there by the rough torrent of occasion, and have the summary of all our griefs, when time shall serve, to show in articles, which long ere this we offered to the king, and might by no suit gain our audience. When we are wronged, and would unfold our griefs, we are denied access unto his person, even by those men who most have done us wrong. The dangers of the days but newly gone, whose memory is written on the earth in yet appearing blood, and the examples of every minute's instance present now hath put us in these ill-beseeming arms, not to break peace, or any branch of it, but to establish here a peace indeed.
Whenever yet was your appeal denied? When have you been galled by the king? And what peer hath been suborned to grate on you that you should seal this lawless, bloody book of forged rebellion with a seal divine, and consecrate commotion's bitter edge?
My brother general, the Commonwealth. To brother born and household cruelty, I make my quarrel in particular.
There is no need of any such redress, or if there were, it not belongs to you.
Why not to him apart, and to us all, that feel the bruises of the days before and suffer the condition of these times, to lay a heavy and unequal hand upon our honours?
Oh, my good Lord Mowbray, construe the times to their necessities, and you shall say, indeed, it is the times and not the king that doth you injuries. Yet, for your part, it not appears to me either from the king or in the present time that you should have any inch of any ground to build a grief on. Were you not restored to all the Duke of Norfolk's signories, your noble and right well-remembered fathers?
What thing in honour had my father lost that need be revived and breathed in me? The king that loved him, as the state stood then, was force perforce compelled to banish him. And then that Harry Bolingbroke and he, both being mounted and roused in their seats, their neighing coursers daring at the spur, their arm staves in charge, their beavers down, their eyes of fire sparking through the sights of steel, and the loud trumpet blowing them together. Then, when nothing could have stayed my father from the rest of Bolingbroke, when the king did throw his warder down, his own life hung upon the staff he threw. Then threw he himself down, and all their lives, and that by indictment and by dint of sword hath since miscarried under Bolingbroke.
You speak, Lord Mowbray, now you know not what. For Harry Bolingbroke, your father's foe, the Earl of Hereford, was reputed then in England the most valiant gentleman. Who knows on whom fortune would then have smiled, but if your father had been victor there, he'd ne'er have borne it out of Coventry. For all the country in a general voice cried hate upon him. And all their prayers and love were set on Hereford, whom they doted on, and blessed, and graced indeed more than the king. But this is mere digression from my purpose. Here come I from our princely general to know your griefs, to tell you from his grace that he will give you audience, and wherein it shall appear that your demands are just, you shall enjoy them. Everything set off that might so much as think you enemies.
But he hath forced us to compel this offer, and it proceeds from policy, not love.
Aubrey, are we to take it so? This offer comes from mercy, not from fear. For lo, within a ken our army lies. Upon mine honour, all too confident to give admittance to a thought of fear. Our battle is more full of names than yours. Are men more perfect in the use of arms? Are our armourers strong? Our cause the best? Then reason will be our heart should be as good. Say you not then, our offer is compelled.
Well, by my will we shall admit no parley.
That argues but the shame of your offence. A rotten case bides no handling.
Hath the Prince John a full commission, in very ample virtue of his father, to hear and absolutely to determine of what conditions we shall stand upon?
That is intended in the General's name. I muse you make so slight a question.
Then take, my Lord Westmoreland, this schedule. For this contains our general grievances, each several article herein redressed. All members of our cause, both here and hence, that are insinued to this action, acquitted by a true, substantial form and present execution of our wills, to us and to our purposes confined, we come within our awful banks again, and knit our powers to the arm of peace.
This will I show the General. Please you, lords, in sight of our battles we may meet, and either end in peace, which God so frame, or in the place of difference call the swords which must decide it.
My lord, we will do so.
There is a feeling which within my bosom tells me that no condition of our peace can stand.
Hear you not that? If we can make our peace upon such large terms and so absolute as our conditions shall consist upon, our peace shall stand as firm as rocky mountains.
Yea, but our valuation shall be such that every slight and false derived cause, yea, every idle, nice and wanton reason shall to the king taste of this action. Were our royal fates martyrs in love, we shall be winnowed with so rough a wind that even our corn shall seem light as chaff, and good from bad find no partition.
No, my lord, note this. The king is weary of dainty and such picking grievances, for he hath found to end one doubt by death revives two greater in the heirs of life, and therefore will he wipe his tables clean, and keep no telltale to his memory that may repeat and history his loss to new remembrance. For full well he knows he cannot so precisely weed this land as his misdoubts present occasion. His foes are so enrooted with his friends that, plucking to unfix an enemy, he doth unfasten so and shake a friend.
Besides, the king hath wasted all his rods on late offenders, so that he doth lack the very instruments of chastisement. And so his power, like that of a fangless lion, may offer, but not hold.
It is very true. And therefore be assured, my good Lord Marshal, if we do now make our atonement well, our peace will, like a broken limb united, grow stronger for the breaking.
Be it so. Here is returned my Lord of Westmoreland.
Prince is here at hand. Pleaseth your lordship to meet his grace just distance between our armies?
Your Grace of York, in God's name then, step forward.
Before and greet his grace, my lord, we come.
You're well encountered here, my cousin Mowbray. Good day to you, gentle Lord Archbishop, and so to you, Lord Hastings, and to all. My Lord of York, it better showed with you and that your flock, assembled by the bell, encircled you to hear with reverence your exposition on the holy text, than now to see you here, an iron man, tearing a rout of rebels with your drum, turning the word to sword and life to death. That man that sits within a monarch's heart and ripens in the sunshine of his favour, would he abuse the countenance of the king? Alack, what mischiefs might be set abroach in shadow of such greatness? With you, Lord Bishop, it is even so. Who hath not heard it spoken how deep you were within the books of God? To us, the speaker in his parliament. To us, the imagined voice of God himself, the very opener and intelligencer between the grace, the sanctities of heaven and our dull workings. Oh, who shall believe but you abuse the reverence of your place, employ the grace and countenance of heaven as a false favourite, doth his prince's name in deeds dishonourable. You've ta'en up under the counterfeited zeal of God, the subject of his substitute, my father, and both against the peace of heaven and him have here upswarmed them.
Good my Lord of Lancaster, I am not here against your father's peace, but as I told my Lord of Westmoreland, the time misordered does, in common sense, crowd us and crush us to this monstrous form to hold our safety up. I sent your grace the parcels and particulars of our grief, the which have been with scorn shoved from the court, whereon this Hydra son of war is born, whose dangerous eyes may well be charmed asleep, with grant of our most just and right desires, and true obedience, of this madness cured, stoop tamely to the foot of majesty.
If not, we're ready to try our fortunes to the last man.
Though we here fall down, we have supplies to second our attempt. If they miscarry, they shall second them. And so successive mischief shall be born, and heir from heir will hold this quarrel up, whilst England shall have generation.
You are too shallow, Hastings. Much too shallow to sound the bottom of the after times.
It is your grace to answer them directly how far forth you do like their articles.
I like them all, and do allow them well, and swear here by the honour of my blood, my father's purposes have been mistook, and some about him have too lavishly rested his meaning and authority. My lord, these griefs shall be with speed redressed. Upon my soul they shall. If this may please you, discharge your powers, as we will ours, and here between the armies, let us drink together friendly and embrace, that all their eyes may bear those tokens home of our restored love and amity.
I take your princely word for these redresses.
I give it you, and will maintain my word. And thereupon, I drink unto your grace.
Captain, God deliver to the army news of peace. Let them have pay and part. I know it will well please them. Now hie thee, Captain.
To you, my noble Lord of Westmoreland.
I pledge your grace. And if you knew what pains I have bestowed to breed this present peace, you would drink freely. But my love to ye shall show itself more openly hereafter.
I do not doubt you.
I'm glad of it. Health to my lord and gentle cousin Mowbray.
You wish me health and a very happy season, for I am on the sudden something ill.
Against ill chances men are ever merry, but happiness foreruns the good event.
Therefore be merry, coz, since sudden sorrow serves to say thus, some good thing comes tomorrow.
Believe me, I am passing light in spirit.
So much the worst if your own rule be true.
The word of peace is rendered. Hark how they shout.
This had been cheerful? After victory?
A peace is of the nature of a conquest. For then both parties nobly are subdued, and neither party loser.
My lord, let our army be discharged.
And so ours too, good Lord Hastings.
I trust, lords, we shall lie tonight together? Now, cousin, wherefore stands our army still?
The leaders having charge from you to stand will not go off until they hear you speak.
They know their duties.
My lord, our army is dispersed already. Like youthful steers unyoked, they take their courses east and west, north and south. Or like a school broke up, each hurries to his home and his sporting place.
Good tidings, my Lord Hastings. For the which I do arrest thee, traitor of high treason, and you, Lord Archbishop, and you, Lord Mowbray, of capital treason, I attach you both.
Is this proceeding just and honourable?
Is your assembly so?
Will you thus break your faith?
I pawned thee none. I promised you redress of these same grievances whereof you did complain, which, by mine honour, I shall perform with a most Christian care. But for you, rebels, look to taste the due meat for rebellion and such acts as yours. Most shallowly did you these arms commence, fondly brought here, and foolishly sent hence. Strike up our drum, pursue the scattered stray. God and not we have fought safely today. Some guard these traitors to the block of death, treason's true bed, and yield her up of breath. The heat is past. Follow no further. Call in the powers, good cousin Westmoreland. Now, Falstaff, where have you been all this while? When everything is ended, then you come. These tardy tricks of yours will, on my life, one time or other break some gallows back. Now, cousin, have you left pursuit?
Retreat is made and execution stayed.
Send the Confederates to York to present execution. Now dispatch we toward the court. I hear the king my father is sore sick. Our news shall go before us to his majesty to comfort him.
My lord, I beseech you, give me leave to go through Gloucestershire. And when you come to court, stand my good lord pray in your good report.
Fare you well, Falstaff. I and my condition shall bear to speak of you than you deserve.
I would you had the wit to better than your dukedom. Good faith, this young, sober-blooded boy doth not love me, nor a man cannot make him laugh, but that's no marvel, drinks no wine. There's never none of these demure boys come to any proof, for thin drink doth so overcool their blood, and making many fish meals that they fall into a kind of male green sickness. And then when they marry, they get wenches. They are generally fools and cowards, which some of us should be too, but for inflammation. A good sherry sack hath a twofold operation in it. It ascends me into the brain, drives me all there, the foolish and dull and curdy vapors which environ it, makes it apprehensive, quick, forgetter, full of nimble, fiery, delectable shapes which delivered over to the voice, the tongue, which is the birth, becomes excellent wit. The second property of your excellent sherry is the warming of the blood, which before cold and settled left the liver white and pale, which is the badge of pusillanimity and cowardice. But the sherry's warms it and makes it course from the inwards to the parts extreme. Oh, it illumineth the face, which as a beacon gives warning to all the rest of this little kingdom, man, to arm. And then the vital commoners and inland petty spirits muster me all to their captain, the heart great and puffed up with his retinue doth any deed of courage, and this valor comes of sherries. So that skill in the weapon is nothing without sack, for that sets it a work, and learning a mere hoard of gold kept by a devil till sack commences it and sets it in act and use, sir. Hereof comes it that Prince Harry is valiant, for the cold blood he did naturally inherit of his father. He hath, like lean, sterile, and bare land, manured, husbanded, and tilled with excellent endeavour of drinking good and good store of fertile sherries, that he has become very hot and valiant. If I had 1,000 sons, the first humane principle I would teach them should be to forswear thin potations and to addict themselves to sack. The army is discharged, all in God, let them go. All through Gloucestershire, and there will I visit Mistress Robin Shallow, Esquire. I have her already temporary between my finger and my thumb, and shortly will I seal with him. It's good.
Now, lords, if God doth give successful end to this debate that bleedeth at our doors, we will our youth lead on to higher fields and draw no swords but what are sanctified. Our navy is addressed, our power collected, our substitutes in absence well invested, and everything lies level to our wish. Only we want a little personal strength, and pause us till these rebels now afoot come underneath the yoke of government.
Both which we doubt not, but your majesty shall soon enjoy.
Oh, Humphrey, my son of Gloucester, where is the prince, thy brother?
I think he's gone to hunt, my lord, at Windsor.
How accompanied?
I do not know, my lord. What would my lord and father?
And nothing but well to thee, Humphrey of Gloucester. How chance thou art not with the prince thy brother? He loves thee, and thou dost neglect him, Humphrey. Thou hast a better place in his affection than all thy brothers. Cherish it, my boy, and noble offices thou mayst effect of mediation after I am dead, between his greatness and thy other brethren. Therefore omit him not, blunt not his love by seeming cold or careless of his will, for he is gracious. If he be observed, he hath a tear for pity, and a hand open as day for charity. Yet notwithstanding, being incensed, he's flint, humorous as winter, and as sudden as flaws congealed in the spring of day. His temper therefore must be well observed. Chide him for faults, but do it reverently when thou perceivest his blood inclined to mirth. But being moody, give him line and scope, till that his passions, like a whale on ground, confound themselves with working. Learn this, Humphrey, and thou shalt prove a shelter to thy friends, a hoop of gold to bind thy brothers in, that the united vessel of their blood, mingled with the venom of suggestion, as force perforce the age will pour it in, shall never leak, though it do work as strong as aconitum or rash gunpowder.
I shall observe him with all care and love.
Why art thou not at Windsor with him?
He is not there today. He dines in London.
And how accompanied? Canst thou tell that?
With POINS and other his continual followers.
Most subject is the fattest soil to weeds, and he, the noble image of my youth, is overspread with them. Therefore my grief extends beyond the hour of death. The blood weeps from my heart when I do shape in forms imaginary the unguided days and rotten times that you shall look upon when I am sleeping with my ancestors. For when his headstrong riot hath no curb, when rage and hot blood are his counsellors, when means and lavish manners meet together, oh, with what wings shall his affections fly towards fronting peril and opposed decay?
My gracious lord, you look beyond him quite. The prince but studies his companions like a strange tongue, wherein to gain the language, 'tis needful that the most immodest word be looked upon and learnt, which once attained, your highness knows, comes to no further use but to be known and hated. So like gross terms, the prince will, in the perfectness of time, cast off his followers, and their memory shall, as a pattern or measure live, by which his grace must meet the lives of others, turning past evils to advantages.
'Tis seldom that the bee doth leave her comb in the dead carrion. Oh, my lord of Westmoreland!
Health to my sovereign, and a new happiness added to that I'm about to deliver. Prince John, your son, doth kiss your grace's hand. Mowbray, the Bishop Scroop, Hastings, and all are brought to the correction of your law, and there is not now a rebel's sword unsheathed, but peace puts forth her olive everywhere.
Oh, Westmoreland! Thou art a summer bird which ever in the haunch of winter sings the lifting up of day.
Yea, here's more news. From enemies heaven keep your majesty, and when they stand against you, may they fall. The Earl of Northumberland and the Lord Bardolph, with a great power of English and of Scots, are by the Sheriff of Yorkshire overthrown.
And wherefore should this good news make me sick? Will fortune never come with both hands full, but write her fair words still in foulest letters? Oh, she either gives a stomach and no food, such are the poor in health, or else a feast and takes away the stomach, such are the rich that have abundance and enjoy it not. I should rejoice now at these happy news, but now my sight fails and my brain is giddy. Oh, come near me, for now I am much ill.
Comfort your majesty.
My sovereign lord, cheer up yourself, look up.
Be patient, Prince. You do know these fits are with his highness, very ordinary. Stand from him. Give him air. He'll straight be well.
People fear me, for they do observe unfathered airs and loathly births of nature. The season changed their manners as the year hath found some months asleep and leaped them over.
Lower, the king recovers.
This apoplexy will certain be his end.
I pray you, take me up and bear me hence into some other chamber. Softly pray. Let there be no noise made, my gentle friends, unless some dull and favourable hand will whisper music to my weary spirit.
Call for music in the other room.
Set my crown upon the pillow there.
Eye is hollow and it changes much.
Less noise, less noise.
How now? Rain within doors and none abroad? How doth the king? Exceeding ill. Heard he the good news yet? Tell it him. Oh, he altered much upon the hearing it. If he be sick with joy, he'll recover without physic.
Not so much noise, my lords. Sweet prince, speak low. The King your father is disposed to sleep.
Let us withdraw into the other room.
No, I will sit here and watch by the king. Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? Oh, polished perturbation, golden care that keeps the ports of slumber open wide to many a watchful night. Sleep with it now. Yet not so sound, nor half so deeply sweet as he whose brow with homely biggin bound snores out the watch of night. O Majesty, when thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armour worn in the heat of day, that scalds with safety. By his gates of breath, there sits a downy feather which stirs not. Did he suspire that light and weightless down perforce must move? My gracious lord! My father, thy due from me is tears and heavy sorrows of the blood, which nature, love, and filial tenderness shall, O dear father, pay thee plenteously. My due from thee is this imperial crown, which as immediate to thy place and blood derives itself to me. Lo, here it sits, which God shall guard, and put all the world's strength into one giant arm, it shall not force this lineal honour from me. This from thee will I to mine live, as has left to me.
Warwick, Gloucester?
What would your majesty? How fares your grace?
Why did you leave me here alone, my lords?
We left the prince my brother here, my liege, who undertook to sit and watch by you.
The Prince of Wales? Where is he? Let me see him. He's not here. Where's the crown? Who took it from my pillow?
When we withdrew, my liege, it remained here.
The prince hath taken it. Go fetch him hither. Oh, God. Is he so hasty that he doth suppose my sleep my death? Find him! Chide him hither! This part of his conjoins with my disease and helps to end me. See, sons, what things you are. How quickly nature falls into revolt when gold becomes her object. For this, the foolish, over-careful fathers have broke their sleep with thoughts, their brains with care, their bones with industry. Like the bees, culling from every flower the virtuous sweets, our thighs packed with wax, our mouths with honey, we bring it to the hive, and like the bees are murdered for our pains. Ah, now, where is he that will not stay so long till his friend's sickness hath determined me?
My lord, I found the prince in the next room, washing with kindly tears his gentle cheeks, with such a deep demeanour in great sorrow, that tyranny, which never quaffed but blood, would by beholding him have washed his knife with gentle eye drops. He is coming hither.
But wherefore did he take away the crown? Ah, hello, here he comes. Come hither to me, Harry. Depart the chamber. Leave us here alone.
I never thought to hear you speak again.
Thy wish was Father Harry to that thought. I stay too long by thee. I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for mine empty chair that thou wilt needs invest thee with mine honours before my hour be ripe? Foolish youth! Thou seekst the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Stay. but a little. Stay but a little. For my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that, which after some few hours were thine without offence. And at my death, thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou shalt have me die assured of it. Thou hast 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, which thou hast whetted on thy stony heart to stab at half an hour of my life. What? Canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Well, get thee gone, and dig my grave thyself. Bid the merry bells ring out that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me with forgotten dust. Give that which gave thee life unto the worms. Pluck down my offices. Break my decrees. For now a time has come to mock at school, at form. Harry the Fifth is crowned. Up vanity. Down royal state, all your sage councillors, heads! And from every region, bring to the English court apes of idleness. Now, neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, commit murder, and every ancient sin the newest kind of way? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall double gild his treble guilt. England shall give him honour, office, might. For the fifth Harry from curbed licence plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth on every innocent. Oh, my poor kingdom, sick with civil blows, when that my care could not withhold thy riots, what wilt thou do when riot is thy care? Oh, thou wilt be a wilderness again, peopled with wolves, thy old inhabitants.
Oh, pardon me, my liege. But for my tears, the moist impediments unto my speech, I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke. You with grief had spoke, and I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown. And he that wears the crown immortally, long guard it yours. If I affect it more than as your honour, and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most inward true and duteous spirit teacheth this prostrate and exterior bending. God witness with me, when I here came in and found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, to think you were, I spake unto this crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore, thou best of gold art worst of gold. Other less fine in characters, more precious, preserving life in medicine potable. But thou, most fine, most honoured, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up. Thus, my most royal liege, accusing it, I put it on my head to try with it, as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father, the quarrel of a true inheritor. But if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did with the least affection of a welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let God forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is, that doth with awe and terror kneel to it.
O my son, God put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst win the more thy father's love, pleading in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry. Sit thou by my bed, and hear, I think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. God knows, my son, by what byways and crooked paths I met this crown. And I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with better quiet, better opinion, better confirmation. For the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but as an honour snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many living to upbraid my gaining of it by their assistances, which daily grew to quarrel unto bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. And all those bold fears thou seest with peril I have answered, for all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument. And now my death changes the mode. For what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more better sort. So thou the garland wearest successively. Yet, though thou standst more firm than ever I could do, thou art not firm enough, since griefs are green, and all my friends, which thou must make thy friends, have their stings and teeth newly ta'en out, by whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I might yet lodge a fear to be again displaced, which to avoid, I cut them off and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, lest rest and lying still should make them look too near upon my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action thence born out might waste the memory of the former days. More would I, but my lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, oh God, forgive. And grant it may with you in true peace live.
My gracious lord, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me. Then plain and right must my possession be, which I with more than with a common pain gainst all the world shall rightfully maintain.
Oh, oh no, my lord son of Lancaster.
Health, peace, and happiness be to my father.
Thou givest me peace and happiness, son John. But health, alack, with youthful wings is flown from this bare withered trunk. Upon thy sight, my worldly business makes a period. Where is my Lord of Warwick?
My Lord of Warwick!
Doth any name particular belong unto the chamber where I first did swoon?
It's called Jerusalem, my noble lord.
Lord be to God! Even there, my life must end. It hath been prophesied to me many years I should not die but in Jerusalem, which vainly I mistook to be the Holy Land. But bear me to that chamber. There I'll lie. In that Jerusalem shall Harry die.
How now, my Lord Chief Justice? Whither away?
How doth the king?
Exceeding well. His cares are now all ended.
I hope not dead.
He's walked the way of nature, and to our purposes he lives no more.
I would his majesty had called me with him. The service that I truly did his life hath left me open to all injuries.
Indeed, I think the young king loves you not.
I know he doth not, and to arm myself to welcome the condition of the time, which cannot look more hideously upon me than I have drawn it in my fantasy.
Here come the heavy issue of dead Harry. Oh, that the living Harry had the temper of him, the worst of these gentlemen. How many nobles then should hold their places that must strike sail to spirits of vile sort?
O God, I fear all will be overturned.
Good morrow, cousin Warwick. Good morrow.
Good morrow, cousin.
Peace be with him that hath made us heavy.
Peace be with us, lest we be heavier.
Oh, good my lord, you have lost a friend indeed. And I dare swear you borrow not that face of seeming sorrow. It is sure your own.
Though no man be assured what grace to find, you stand in coldest expectation. I am the sorrier. Would 'twere otherwise.
Here comes the prince.
Morrow, God save your majesty.
This new and gorgeous garment, majesty, sits not so easy on me as you think. Brothers, you mix your sadness with some fear. This is the English, not the Turkish court. Not Amurath and Amurath succeeds, but Harry. Yet be sad, good brothers, for by my faith it very well becomes you. Sorrow so royally in you appears that I will deeply put the fashion on and wear it in my heart. Why then, be sad, but entertain no more of it, good brothers, than a joint burden laid upon us all. For me, by heaven, I bid you be assured, I'll be your father and your brother too. Let me but bear your love, I'll bear your cares. Yet weep that Harry's dead, and so will I. But Harry lives that shall convert those tears by number into hours of happiness.
We hope no other from your majesty.
You all look strangely upon me, and you most of all. You are, I think, assured I love you not.
I am assured, if I be measured rightly, your majesty hath no just cause to hate me.
No? How might a prince of my great hopes forget so great indignities you laid upon me? What? Rate, rebuke, and roughly send prison the immediate heir of England? Was this easy?
I then did use the person of your father. The image of his power lay then in me, and in the administration of his law, whilst I was busy for the Commonwealth. Your Highness pleased to forget my place. The majesty and power of law and justice, the image of the king whom I presented, and struck me in my very seat of judgment, whereon, as an offender to your father, I gave bold my place, my authority, did commit you. If the deed were ill, be you contented, wearing now the garland, to have a son set your decrees at naught, pluck down justice from your awful bench, to trip the course of law and blunt the sword that guards the peace and safety of your person. Nay more, to spurn at your most royal image and mock your workings in a second body, question your royal thoughts, make the case yours. Be now the father and propose a son. Hear your own dignity so much profaned, see your most dreadful laws so loosely slighted, behold yourself so by a son disdained, and then imagine me taking your part. and in your power soft silencing your son. After this cold considerance sentence me, and as you are a king, speak in your state what I have done that misbecame my place, my person, or my liege's sovereignty.
You are right, Justice, and you weigh this well. Therefore, still bear the balance and the sword, and I do wish your honours may increase till you do live to see a son of mine offend you and obey you as I did. So shall I live to speak my father's words. Happy am I that have a man so bold that dares do justice on my proper son, and not less happy having such a son that would deliver up his greatness so into the hands of justice. You did commit me, for which I do commit into your hand the unstained sword that you have used to bear, with this remembrance, that you use the same with the like bold, just, and impartial spirit as you have done against me. There is my hand. You shall be as a father to my youth. My voice shall sound as you do prompt mine ear, and I will stoop and humble my intents to your well-practiced, wise decision. And princes all, believe me, my father is gone wild into his grave, for in his tomb lie my affections. And with his spirit, sadly I survive to mock the expectation of the world, to frustrate prophecies, and to raise out rotten opinion who hath writ me down after my seeming. The tide of blood in me hath proudly flowed in vanity till now. Now doth it turn, and ebb back to the sea, where it shall mingle with the state of floods, and flow henceforth in formal majesty. Now call we our High Court of Parliament, and let us choose such limbs of noble counsel that the great body of this state may go in equal rank with the best governed nation, that war or peace or both at once may be as things acquainted and familiar to us, in which you, Father, shall have the foremost hand. Our coronation done, we will excite as I before remembered all our state, and God consigning to my good intents, no prince nor peer shall have just cause to say, God shorten Harry's happy life one day.
Oh God, you have here a goodly dwelling and a rich.
Baron for beggars all, Sir John Goodpair. Oh, by the mass, I have drunk too much sack at supper. Come, sit down, come, good cousin.
Sirrah, quotha, we shall do nothing but eat and make good cheer, and praise God for a merry year where flesh is cheap and females dear, and lusty lads roam here and there so merrily, ever among so merrily.
There's a merry heart, good Master Silence. I'll give you a health for that anon.
Ah, be merry, be merry.
Be merry, be merry.
I did not think Master Silence had been a man of this mettle.
Who, I? I have been married twice, and once here now. A cup of wine that's brisk and fine. And drink unto thee, lemon mine, a merry heart lives a longer.
Well said, Master Silence.
And we shall be merry. Now comes the sweet of the night.
Health and long life to you, Master Silence.
Fill the cup, and let it come, and I'll pledge you a mile to the bottom.
Like nothing, be merry. Look, who comes to the door, ho? Who knocks? Now,
God save you!
Oh, what wind blew you hither, Pistol?
Not the ill wind which blows no man to good. Sweet knight, thou art now one of the greatest men in all the realm.
Oh, by'r lady, I think he be but Puffman good of Barson.
Puff in thy teeth, thy recreant coward base. Sir John, I am thy pistol and thy friend, and helter-skelter have I rode to thee, and tidings do I bring, and lucky joys and happy news of price.
I pray thee now deliver them like a man of this world.
A footer for the world and worldlings base. I speak of Africa and of golden joy.
Oh, base Assyrian knight, what is thy news? Let King Capitra know the truth thereof.
And Robin Hood, Scarlet and John.
Curs confront the Helicans, and shall good news be baffled, then, Pistol, lay thy head in Fury's lap.
Honest gentlemen, I know not your breeding.
Why then, lament therefore.
Oh, give me pardon, sir, but if you bring news from the court, I think that there are but two ways to utter them or conceal them. I, sir, am under some authority from the king.
Under which king, Bessonian? Speak or die.
Under King Harry.
Harry the Fourth or Fifth?
Harry the Fourth?
A footer for thine office. Sir John, thy tender lambkin now is king. Harry the Fifth's the man. I'd speak the truth. If Pistol lie, do this and fig me like the bragging Spaniard.
Is the old king dead?
Snail indoor. The things I speak are just.
Oh, away, page. Settle my horse. Mistress Robin Shallow, choose what offers thou wilt in the land, 'tis thine. Oh, Pistol, I will double charge thee with dignities.
What? I do bring good news.
Oh, carry Master Silence to bed. Mistress Shallow, my lady Shallow, be what thou wilt. I am Fortune's steward. Get on thy boots, we'll ride all night. Oh, sweet Pistol, utter me more to me, and withal devise something to do thyself good. Boot, Mistress Shallow. Oh, I know the young king is sick for me. Let us take any man's horses. The laws of England are at my commandment. Blessed are they that have been my friends, and woe to my Lord Chief Justice.
That vulture's vile seize on his lungs also. Where is the life that late I led, say they? Why, here it is. Welcome these pleasant days.
Stand here by me, Mistress Robin Shallow. I will make the king do you grace. I will leer upon him as he comes by, and do but mark the countenance that he will give me.
God bless your lungs, sweet knight.
Oh, come here, Pistol. Stand behind me. Oh, if I'd had time to have made new liveries, I would have bestowed the £1,000 I borrowed of you. But 'tis no better. This poor show doth bitter. This doth infer the zeal I had to see him.
Oh, it doth.
It shows my earnestness of affection.
Oh, it doth.
My devotion.
It doth.
As it were, to ride day and night, and not to deliberate, not to remember, not to have patience to shift me.
Oh, 'tis best certain.
But to stand, stained with travel and sweating with desire to see him, thinking of nothing else, putting all affairs else in oblivion as if there were nothing else to be done but to see him.
Oh, yes.
I will inflame thy liver and make thee rage.
So indeed.
Thy doll and Helen of thy noble thoughts is in base durance and contagious prison, hailed thither by most mechanical and dirty hands. Rouse up revenge from Ebon Den and fell Electo snake, for doll is in.
I will deliver her.
There roared the sea and trumpet clangor sounds.
God save thy grace, King Hell, my royal Hell!
The heavens thee guard and keep, most royal imp of fame.
God save thee, my sweet boy!
My Lord Chief Justice, speak to that vain man.
Have you your wits? Know you what 'tis to speak?
My king, my Jove, I speak to thee, my heart.
I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How ill white hair becomes a fool and jester. Long have I dreamed of such a man as thee, so surfeit-swelled, so old and so profane. But being awaked, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence, and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. Know that the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men. Reply not to me with a full-born jest. Do not presume I am the thing I was, for God doth know, so shall the world perceive that I have turned away my former self. So will I those that kept me company. When thou dost hear I am as I have been, approach me then, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then, I banish thee on pain of death, as I have done the rest of my misleaders, not to come near our person by 10 mile. For competence of life I will allow you, that lack of means enforce you not to evil. And as we hear you do reform yourselves, we shall, according to your strengths and qualities, give you advancement. Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenor of our word. Set on!
Mistress Scheller, I owe you £1,000.
Sir John Murray, so, which I beseech you to let me have home with me.
It can hardly be, Mistress Scheller. Do not you grieve at this. I shall be sent for in private to him. Look you, he must seem thus to the world. Fear not your advancements. I will be the man yet that shall make you great.
Go, carry Sir John Falstaff to the fleet. Take all his company along with you.
My lord, my lord.
I cannot now speak. I will hear you soon. Take them away.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for watching Streamed Shakespeare's presentation of Henry IV, Part 2. Let's have a big round of applause for our cast, starting with the king and his court. And now the rebellious nobility. Finally, the denizens of East Cheap. Last but not least, please put your hands together for our wonderful technical crew. We are Stream Shakespeare. Please like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. See you soon.